Hello everyone, I'm Rec05.
I'm Sandman99.
And welcome back to Diablo 2 PC Paladin playthrough.
Yeah.
Yes.
As we charge headlong into the desert.
Yep, we're charging headlong into the desert, and that guy really wants to talk to us. We're not going to talk to him.
No, because you don't talk to anybody.
That's right.
You're what the Sweater Vest Gamer calls a murder hobo.
Hey, you know what? I'll take that as a compliment coming from him. I'll take it as a compliment coming from him.
There's no lore, there's no talking to people, you just go out there and hack things.
That's right. So I can't remember what exactly I did off camera. I think I bought this pole axe.
Uh-huh.
Right? And then, yeah, and I think I might have also bought a maul. Did I find a maul and throw it in storage? Yes, I did. I found a maul and I threw it in storage. I don't know when that happened.
Oh.
Maybe that was last episode. Maybe it wasn't. But I bought this poleaxe off camera for certain. And it does 18 to 46 damage, which means we do 103 to 268 points of damage.
Wow.
Anyways.
But then again, though, everything has 500 hit points, right? So.
Well, it'll have even more than that. We'll be getting into thousands of hit points soon.
Yeah.
But as you can see, I can almost one-shot these things if I get near the top-end damage range of my pole arm here.
Yeah. You do yourself damage much more quickly now, too, though, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Because I do more damage. But that's okay. We have potions. I totally didn't buy more healing potions before actually coming here. You know how nice it is to play this on your monitor where I can actually see everything that's going on? I play this game half blind all the time when I'm on my computer because my monitor's so damn dark, and a lot of the areas in this game are so high contrast, it's hard to even see your health bar.
Yeah, and this monitor is 3 or 4 years old now.
Yeah,
we still haven't gotten around to setting up the brand new one yet.
Yeah, well, you know, my monitor's like, oh man.
Probably 10 or 12 years old.
Older than that. I think it's getting up to 12 years old now, yeah.
Yeah, well, it's from the beginning of the flat screen era, right?
Not quite. The one that I loaned you that's sitting beside this monitor is, I think, 15 or 16 years old.
Yeah.
Now. But, you know, I had a flat screen monitor that was 4:3 aspect ratio from 2001 that I was using.
Yeah, well,
for a while.
Just think if we get around to hooking up the new one, then maybe you can have this one back.
And then, also, what ended up happening was, I think my current monitor is like from somewhere between 2012 and 2014. I couldn't really tell you. And, yeah, like, it was one of the first 4K monitors that came out.
Uh-huh.
So it actually does 4K resolution at 30 frames a second, which I guess is fine. But, yeah, it's, very, very dark. It also was the first monitor I ever owned that could rotate vertically. I guess it's the only monitor I own that can rotate vertically because, you know, I never bought another monitor after that.
Yeah, and you're using, for your second monitor right now, you're using an old CRT.
That's right, because my 1080p 4:3 aspect ratio flat screen from 2001 died, so I have this, like, 1080p CRT monitor from, like, 2004, 2005 that I hooked up instead.
Uh-huh.
And it was probably one of the last CRT monitors ever made.
Yeah, and it's a pretty small screen, too. It's a lot smaller than either of these two screens.
Yeah, but, oh man, it looks amazing. The colors on it are amazing.
Yeah,
like,
but you have to basically be more or less equivalent of sitting at a desk in order to be able to see anything on it, right?
Oh, I wouldn't say that. I mean, like,
because it's so small.
If I go and I throw, like, Street Fighter 2 on that thing, it works just fine.
Yeah.
Right? For games, it works just fine, because most games, you know, you're not, like, sitting there trying to parse text or something.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it works alright for programming as well, as a second monitor, because as long as you are a diligent programmer and you follow 80 column constraints, and you don't have more than 80 characters in a single line of code, and yes, you should be like that, I don't give a shit what Linus Torvalds says. You know, he's wrong, and I don't care if he invented the Linux kernel, and I don't care if I use Linux, he's still wrong. You know, as long as you do that, then you can easily still read things. And actually, I think that monitor, if I run it at like a resolution, or if I run it at a zoom level, because I keep everything zoomed in enough so that I can view it from about 6 feet back. But if I were to run that monitor at its normal zoomed resolution, I think it can view like 120 characters per line anyways, right? Whereas a modern monitor like this can view like 180 or more characters per line.
Yeah. I don't know. I've seen you when you were programming before, and the minuscule size text divided up into like 8 windows on the same screen and all that kind of stuff, and I would totally go blind if I had to look at that.
Well, that's part of the reason why I program with 80 columns, though, because if I keep the width of my text small, then I can have a lot more files open on the same screen, right?
Yeah. Wow, you had to hit that guy a lot of times to kill him.
Oh, you think that's a lot? Oh man, you're going to be in for a treat when we get into the later game. But no, that was not that much at all. But yeah, I don't know. But I think too, studies show that text is most readable when there are between 40 and 90 characters on a single line. If there are long lines where a reader has to follow the line across and watch the text wrap across the screen, the problem is you can actually lose yourself in the middle of a line.
Yeah, you lose your place, right?
That's right, and then you can end up in a situation where you end up rereading the same words or even the same line over and over again, or you start reading from a line above or a line below. And so, you know, research indicates that you really should have shorter lines of text. Although my boss at work, oh man, I hate reading his code, because he just makes the longest lines ever. He doesn't give any shits.
Yeah, well, you know what? Maybe he's a student of Linus Torvald, right?
No, I think it's mostly because we do database query-related stuff at work, so he just copies, he writes out his database queries and gets them all worked out in, because we use Windows at work, unfortunately. He gets them all worked out in, like, the SQL server, SQL Studio, whatever the hell it is for SQL server. I can't even remember what the program is called. SSMS. That's what I call it. That's what the executable is called, I'm pretty sure. And, you know, he just types out his query to get it to work, and he edits it and get it to work, and then he just copies and pastes it directly into the code, right? And doesn't reformat it at all, or anything like that. And it's just like, oh, I mean, like, he's really, really great at what he does, and his queries are absolutely amazing. They perform well. They produce the results they're supposed to. You can't complain about this guy's code in any other way except that he doesn't format it to 80 columns, so it's horribly hard to read and it looks awful.
You getting a little low on health there, or what?
Ah, we're fine. We'll be fine. Don't worry about it. You always want to kill the guys that resurrect the guys. I don't remember if you get repeated experience for killing resurrected minions over and over again. I think you do, but I also think that minions that can be resurrected are basically put in the game such that they're lower level enemies by this point. So it doesn't really matter if you kill them over and over again. You're not going to gain experience at a rate that is worth your time.
It's just going to be a resource drain.
Well, not necessarily, because you can also have characters who can regenerate hit points, and you can even have, like, for example, bows don't have durability, I think. So, I think you could even just use a bow and kill everything with a bow.
Wow,
and if
that guy just puked on you.
Yeah, well, he's trying to poison me. And if you had something like, say, the Amazon's magic arrow skill, then you don't consume arrows either. And so you could actually just perpetually kill things forever, especially because you can level up that skill to the point where it has 0 mana cost. But, which isn't something that I think people typically do, because I don't think that skill is actually powerful enough in the long run to be useful anyways. But, you know, you could do that and then come in here and then kill these guys forever and ever and ever, and never run out of resources. But, you know, then you'd have the problem that you're collecting experience at the rate that these guys die at, which just isn't worth your time.
Yep, or you could just conjure up a whole bunch of skeletons and then sit back with your hands in your pockets and watch.
God. Well, it doesn't work out so well for these guys.
Yeah.
I can't actually walk past these guys to get at that guy. I want to walk past them so that I can kill these guys.
Oh, does one of them resurrect the other?
No.
No?
Thankfully, it's not like that. That would be such a pain in the ass. Although a boss might be able to resurrect the...
Because I know in
in
Champions, if you've got more than one of those magic guys, then one magic guy can resurrect the other magic guys, right? If you don't kill them all fast enough.
Yeah. My current strength is 65. I have too many town portal scrolls.
Can't carry any more shit.
It's fine, we'll just drop them on the ground.
Dropping stuff on the ground everywhere.
Yep. Okay, I can't get Sanctuary yet. Obviously I can't get Redemption yet, so we're going to put another point in the Sacrifice. That gets us up to plus 375% damage and plus 111% chance to hit. Which means our chance to hit is still dog shit, but everything in this game right now still has dog shit defense, so it's fine.
Oh.
Everything's gonna have dog shit defense until we get to Act 3.
I see. Well, when the two of you are working on something, they don't last long.
Nope. Okay, I gotta do a little bit of inventory reorganization here.
What's the box?
That is a Horadric cube. I don't need that.
Well, it sure is big and takes up a lot of space. Wow.
Yep.
So what does it do?
Well, it gives me extra inventory slots because it takes up 4, but it gives me 3, 6, 9, 12.
Oh, okay.
So I could start throwing shit in there, like that thing that I just dropped, or I could pick up that hard leather armor and throw it in there.
Oh.
And then identify it. But that's not the main purpose of this thing. It's actually a thing that you can use for crafting item-related stuff.
Oh, I see.
But because it's so big and bulky, and you have such little inventory space, it also functions as more inventory space.
Ah.
So I've got the Horadric Cube now. Actually, I don't know where the boss that usually guards the Horadric Cube was. I guess they didn't spawn on this floor. Maybe they're not in this particular randomization. Who knows? Kane really wants to talk to us real bad and be like, oh, the lost Horadric Cube. That adds 1 to 15 damage on a dagger. And gives you plus 100% chance of getting better magic items.
Wow.
Yeah, but it is a dagger.
Yeah, that doesn't seem like your style.
Yeah, it also does half the damage that our poleaxe does. Although it's a dagger that does half the damage that our poleaxe does. Alright.
Yeah. And it's a fast attack, right?
Yeah, well, you know what? Maybe we'll just do that. It's not like I'm going to use a sword anyways. Ooh, we found a poison resistance ring. That's really nice. What do we have for resistances? Okay, so we have Sky High Lightning Resistance, and we're working on Fire Resistance, I guess. Oh, okay, that's because I'm still got the shield equipped. Okay, yeah, we're still working on Fire Resistance.
Okay.
But I doubt that Far there is going to have anything useful for me right now. Right? Just take a quick look. Shields. We don't need shields. Fire resist 19% on gloves. That's pretty good. Yeah, we'll buy those gloves. And then we'll see if that was a waste of money. We have cold resist gloves, now we have fire resist gloves.
Wow. Does your stash there ever get full, or does it have unlimited...
In the normal unmodified game it would, but we're running the plug Y mod, so we have like 99 pages of stash.
Oh, okay.
Or something like that.
So for all intents and purposes you have unlimited room then?
That's right. Not that it makes much of a difference. I mean, I'd probably just carry resistance crap around with me anyways. I just wouldn't be able to do either the potion thing, or I wouldn't be able to do, like, carrying these random shields around, or, you know, because I'm never going to use these shields. I'm never going to use most of the crap in here.
Yeah, I totally understand, because I constantly fill my storage even when I'm playing Skyrim or Fallout 4. I fill my storage benches or storage cupboards or whatever with all the stuff that I pick up that I just can't let go, but I'll never use.
Well, I could even, those potions that I had in there, I could just fill the Horadric cube now that I have it with those potions, and just, like, use that to carry around all my potions for the end of the act.
Yeah.
Right? And then everything else that I couldn't fit in there would probably just get sold.
Yeah.
And I'd just keep, like, some extra resistance gear in there or something.
Yeah, it's kind of why you always, when you're playing Fallout 4, you always pick up the legendary items, even if there's something dumb, right?
Well, this game's stash, like the stash size, is only like half the inventory size by default. It's like this big almost.
Really?
Like the default stash size is maybe like a little bit bigger, but it's like really, really small.
Wow.
So
basically you're not encouraged to save anything, you gotta sell it all off.
Yeah, basically, and then you end up with all this money, and it's totally not useful.
Does the gold take up space in inventory like it did in...
No, but you are limited by your level as to how many gold pieces you can carry in your inventory. However, you can also put gold in your stash.
Oh.
And now I need to go and find the waypoint thing. I'm getting distracted here. But, no, so yeah, that's how that works. Now we just need to find our way to the, next area. Okay, that's the previous area. We'll fight these guys while we look around the map. Okay, I see where I'm supposed to go.
I have no idea what you're doing or why.
I was moving the map around so that I could see where I need to go.
Yeah, I know, but why are you going there and what are you doing?
Oh, we need to go to the maggot lair so that we can go get some random fucking piece of a staff. So that's what we have the Horadric cube for. That's what it's actually for. We're supposed to, storyline-wise, assemble the Horadric Staff, which will open the tomb to Talros's chamber, which, if you ever read the Diablo 1 lore, is, he's like the guy who sacrificed his life to entrap Baal, Lord of Destruction.
Oh.
Yeah.
So in this game, then, are you going to, like, inadvertently loose another one of these guys onto the world? Is that what's going to happen here?
That's exactly what's going to happen.
There you go. See, I don't even know what's going on, but I could see that coming.
It's okay, though. We'll handle it. We'll fix it.
Oh. Well, how can you fix it when they never released another one after this?
Well, that's because we'll fix it before this game ends.
Oh, I see.
Those things are fucking worthless anyways.
Because I would have figured that, like they would have left you with another cliffhanger like they did in Diablo 1, and then you gotta fix your fuck up in the next one, right?
Nope.
Which is basically what you're doing here, right? You're fixing your fuck up from Diablo 1.
Although I guess you
or you're trying to anyway.
You kind of fuck up in this one because you're too slow. But that's fine because you still get the job done, so it doesn't really matter. I guess it depends on what your definition. The fuck up in this game is way less severe than the fuck up in the previous game, or I suppose that depends on your metric. But I would say it's way less severe. That's a lot of stuff for one chest.
It's pretty severe. Shoving a sharp pointy thing into your forehead that contains a demon. That's a pretty big fuck up to my mind.
Yeah, man, it happens all the time.
You're basically lobotomizing yourself with this thing.
It happened to me last week, right? You come out of the 7-Eleven, then you get like a fucking sharp pointy thing in the head, and next thing you know, you're possessed by a demon. It's totally normal.
Okay.
Oh, the woes of inventory management.
Yep. Because you can't pick up all that stuff, right?
I don't want most of it either. Most of it is junk.
What's a wrist blade?
That's an assassin weapon. And the only reason we don't pick them up is because they sell for fucking dog shit.
Oh.
Okay, well,
you almost can't pick up any more shit again already.
Yeah, well, we've got the shit that we need to sell. We'll throw that in there, we'll throw that in there. We'll throw this over here, throw that there, and now we can pick up more shit.
Yeah, every time you break an urn or open a chest or something like that, it's like Monty Hall out there compared to Diablo 1.
You know, I suspect it has something to do with the fact that I'm playing this game on players 8, so it's dropping enough loot for 8 players.
Oh.
But I'm the only guy here. That being said, it saves us from grinding for items too, which is also annoying.
Oh, now you can kill swarms of locusts with your poleaxe?
Yep.
Pulls a can of Raid out of his belt.
That's right.
Oh, these things are actually hitting you.
Well, they emit charged bolts when I kill them.
Oh.
And so, you know, those charged bolts hit me after I hit them, and I one-shot them. Or two-shot them, but usually one-shot them, which means they emit less charged bolts, because what they do is they emit charged bolts every single time you hit them.
Oh.
But if you kill them in one hit, then they only do it once.
Oh.
The advantage of our particular strategy with the big one-hit damage kills.
Uh-huh. Wow. That's a lot of bugs.
Yeah, they're also physically resistant, too. Like, they're resistant to physical attacks, which is why...
Yeah, well, no kidding. You're trying to kill a cloud of locusts by swinging a poleaxe at it.
It's fine, okay? I'm telling you, it works just like science intended.
Yeah, you might as well have, like, a big fly swatter or something, right?
It works just like science intended.
That's what I said. You need a can of off or something, or not off, Raid, eh?
Hey, if I flip this thing sideways, it would sort of work like a fly swatter.
See, they had, even back when I was still a teenager, they had Raid in cans that would actually disperse the Raid, you know, like out 10, 12 feet away from the can, right?
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah, they had
that way
those
you wouldn't have to get close to the bug, you could just kill it.
Well, no, it was for, like, hitting things like wasps' nests and stuff like that, because trust me, you don't want to get up very close to a wasp's nest, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, like I was visiting my uncle on his farm one summer when I was about 14 years old. And of course, you know, like he put me to work and all that kind of stuff. He let me drive the old Ford pickup that he had, you know, around the farm. And I went out and did things like pick rocks or shoveled old grain out of bins and stuff like that. And I was in the bin doing just that, and I felt a tickle on my arm. And that's when I almost learned that when you feel a tickle on your arm, you look first to see if there's a wasp crawling on it.
Almost learned, because I'm sure you made that mistake several more times in your life.
Many more times in my life, right? But as it turns out, there was like 4 wasps crawling on my arm, and they all hit me at the same time, right? And so anyway, I went diving headfirst out of the little square hole in the side of the grain bin, because when I looked up to see where the wasps were coming from, I saw a nest that was about a foot across and about 4 feet long from top to bottom in the top corner of the bin.
Oh, yeah.
And there were more wasps coming out of it. So I went up to the house, and my aunt, you know, got the baking soda and water out, and, you know, smeared that all over my arm where I got stung all over the place and all that kind of stuff. And then I got a couple of cans of that Raid, and I went in there and I just emptied both cans into the bin.
Nice.
Then, of course, it was a day or two after that before I was able to go back in there again, because it was all full of Raid, right?
Yep.
And I imagine that I probably would have ended up like the wasps if I'd have gone in there right away after that, but it took care of the problem.
Well, there you go.
So, yeah. But even when I was, you know, like working in the mining industry later, when I was an adult, many years later, I still got nailed on, you know, by a wasp crawling on my arm, you know, that I'd feel a tickle, so I'd go to scratch my arm, and and it would be because there was a wasp crawling on my arm, and as soon as I touch him, well, then he stings you, right?
Yep.
And yeah, so it took a few times after that yet before I finally learned to look before I went to scratch. Luckily, I'm not like I'm one of those people that suffers from anaphylactic shock or anything like that, so You know, like I've been stung lots of times by bees and wasps and stuff, and it doesn't really bother me any, except that it hurts a bit when it first happens, right?
Yeah. I know, man. For me, like, I mean, I don't think I'm allergic to that kind of thing, but I'm just, like, terrified of fucking wasps and bees and things like that in general.
Oh. Well, you know what? They're painful, but it's definitely not the most painful thing that I've ever felt. It's not as big a deal as you would think.
Man, where the fuck is the stairs down in this place? There's got to be a stairs down somewhere.
Yeah,
I would
say if anything, on a scale of 1 to 10, being stung by a wasp is probably like a 3 or a 4.
Well, see,
and recovering from knee replacement surgery, that's probably like an 8 or a 9, right?
yeah, because you had to do that twice.
Yeah, well, and it is also extremely painful, especially when they get you out of bed as soon as you wake up after the surgery and get you walking around on this thing, you know, right away, right? Because they do.
Yep.
And that hurt. That was just about the worst pain I remember ever feeling.
Yeah, I guess I'm kind of lucky, because even in hot weather, I wear, like, big, thick, like, long hoodies and things like that. Or big, thick, long jackets. I'm like one of those guys, and so I've actually found, like, stingers in my jacket before.
Oh, yeah. So they try to get you, but your armor protects you.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, well, my wife was delivering notices around the complex here before Christmas, and, you know, luckily it was a cold day and she had her heavy winter coat on, but she got bit by a big dog when she was putting an envelope into a mailbox.
Yep.
And I'll bet that hurt. Because she's got a wicked scar on her arm, even through the coat and everything now, right?
Yeah, well, that thing was an Argentinian Mastiff, so...
Yeah.
Really big, big dog.
Yeah, and extremely aggressive.
And probably made worse by the owners, too.
Yeah, probably. People who own that kind of dog usually are, you know, like a certain type of people, too, right? I'm going to offend dog owners everywhere now, but you know what? Why do you want to own a dog like that? Right?
Well, you are a dog owner, though, so...
Yeah, I know, but my dog weighs like 20 pounds, and he's like 12 inches tall at the shoulder, and probably, you know, even when he still had teeth, because he's really old now, he still couldn't bite hard enough to injure somebody.
Yeah, it's really funny when he slips on the ice, because he has so, like, his legs are so damn short...
Yeah.
That he doesn't really have any distance to fall.
Yeah, well, you know what, though? He never used to do that when he was younger, either. It's just that now he's becoming infirm, right?
Yeah.
Because he's like 16 years old, so...
Well, his legs aren't even 3 inches long.
Yeah. Yeah,
they might not be 2 inches long.
Yeah, he's a little dog, and he's not really technically my dog. He's my wife's dog. Because I don't know if you remember the Dinosaurs TV show. You know, where the baby would whack daddy with whatever came to hand and say, not the mama.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm not the mama, right? He puts up with me when she's not around, but when she's around, he doesn't really care if I'm alive or not, right? Unless I'm feeding him.
Of course.
Yeah. But other than that, he pretty much ignores me most of the time.
Man, look at all this crap.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff there. But yeah, I mean, you know what? If you're living in the city and you've got a little tiny postage stamp size yard like what we have in this complex, because we live in a townhouse complex.
Yep.
Well, you have no business having a dog that weighs 120 pounds and stands like tall enough that when it stands on its hind legs, it can look over a 6-foot fence. Like, you know,
well,
you
5
have no,
foot fence.
Yeah, you have no business having a dog like that in a place like this, right? Especially a hyper aggressive dog that will bite somebody just for reaching over top of the gate
To put something in the mailbox.
To put something in the mailbox, like... I mean, the yard that we have is really too small even for a small dog, although at least he's got, you know, basically he just goes out and goes to the bathroom and stuff like that. When he was younger, used to just take him for a walk around the block or you know, for a little while, right?
Yeah, now he just walks around in circles in the yard.
Yeah. Well, he gets tired too quickly now, right? Like the last time, it was a few days ago, but the last time I actually took him out of the yard on the leash, you know, he barely made it around the complex and he was starting to slow down, right?
Yeah, and you had to carry him home, or he
No,
made it?
I didn't have to carry him. He made it, but he was kind of dragging his ass after, you know, when we got up to the gate, right?
Yep.
Because he was tired. Because, like, I don't know how old 16 is, like, in equivalent people years, but I'm pretty sure it's over 100, right? Like, he's very old for a dog.
Yep. Those ones require dexterity. They're not even worth picking up. Anything that requires dexterity is not worth picking up.
Yeah. So, it wouldn't surprise me if, you know, like, he drops out here sometime in the next year or two, but...
Oh!
But he's not really showing any signs of it yet. He just sleeps a lot and, you know, moves slowly and that kind of thing. You know, on the front, we've got a 3-step front step coming up to the door from the sidewalk at the front door here. And he used to be able to hop up those steps, you know, like fairly quickly. You know how a dog can jump, right?
Yep.
And now he crawls up one step, like 4 legs, 1 leg at a time on each step, right?
Well, unless he sees chicken at the end of that step.
Yeah, unless he sees chicken at the other end of that step, then he can move a little faster. But for the most part, though, I think he probably has arthritis in his joints and stuff like that too, right?
Yeah, the chicken, the reward of the chicken just makes him forget about it.
The chicken makes him forget about it, yeah. So what is this, Attack of the Big Green Beetles?
Yeah, pretty much. Oh, why the fuck did I pick that useless thing up? Hey, we can level that up, and now we could use that mall back in town.
Oh.
We were level 23, we need to be, what level for that? Level 24. We need to be level 30 for that, so we'll just throw another point in the sacrifice. We also need to go back to town and sell this crap and go and get that polearm.
But anyway, you know, like if you're on a farm and you need a big dog to chase off pests, you know, like to keep coyotes or other things like that out of your yard, well, then you've got a good reason to have a big dog like that, right? But in town, there's no reason to have a dog like that. It's just some kind of weird status symbol thing, right?
Oh, what does the V key do? I don't even know what the V key does. So now we have to do 240 to 358. With that, I have barely read that. I had to lean forward to read that. But 240 to 358.
Yeah.
And we can maybe give our old polearm to this guy.
Oh, okay.
18 to 46, 19 to 42. Which does more damage for him? 55 to 118 or 60 to 117? Technically, that has a higher average damage.
Yeah, his minimum damage is better, right? Yeah.
So I guess we'll throw this thing in storage.
Oh, you're not going to sell it?
Yeah, okay, we'll sell it. I throw enough things in storage.
Yeah, you're never going to use it again anyway, sell it.
Yeah, you know what? We've got a bunch of other things that we're never going to use again, like that random normal spear.
Yeah, I know.
This random claymore.
It's okay, I know. I'm a video game hoarder too. I keep everything that I pick up if I have, you know, storage, like you do in player homes and that kind of thing. And yeah, even in Fallout New Vegas, I collect stuff and then I end up stashing it all in the safe storage in the various player homes, right?
Yep.
I'm terrible for that kind of thing.
Well, now too, we've got. I want to pick up that socketed falchion. Socketed? Is it triple socketed? Oh, it's single socketed, so it's useless garbage.
Oh well. Now you can pound some tent pegs.
Not only that, but this maul here has self-repair, so it repairs 1 durability every 33 seconds.
Wow.
And with the new minimum damage, we're going to one-shot everything in here. We also do even more damage to ourselves now, too, though.
Yep.
But that's fine. Nobody cares about that.
So anyway, you know, I'd much rather have even a medium-sized dog, you know, like 30, 40 pounds at the most. Like our neighbor had a, some sort of Australian collie or something.
Yep.
And he wasn't a real big dog. He was about, like I said, about 40 pounds maybe, but very nice dog, right? You know, like happy-natured and friendly and all that kind of stuff. I actually really liked him. You know, but when you live in town, a dog is supposed to be a pet. It's not a weapon to use against, you know, animals and people and things like that.
Yeah, that's what your shotgun is for, is what I'd say if we live south of the border.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, my uncle used to keep an old bolt action 22, right? He used to use that to shoot gophers and stuff like that every now and then. Because it was more fun than setting traps.
Yeah.
I think that's the only reason why he did that, right?
Oh, nothing wrong with that. More useless self-repair boots. Those aren't even going to be worth selling. I guess I'll keep them around until I find something else worth selling.
Yeah. It's not like you can't have guns here in Canada. In fact, at least half of the people that I've ever known have owned at least one firearm.
You just can't have any of the fun guns. Damn it.
Actually, you can still own some of those too. Like I knew a guy who, I used to work with a guy who owned a handgun, like a 357.
Yeah, they're just a lot more restrictive.
But they're very restrictive on what
yeah.
you're allowed to do with them, right? But he was a member of a shooting club, like a gun club.
Yep.
So he could, but he had to just follow the rules, right? As far as transporting and storing his gun.
Can't just put your 357 in your belt or your pants and then walk off.
Apparently it had to be, when he was on his way to or from the gun club.
Had to be in a gun case.
It had to be in a locked container. And he had to basically go straight to the club or straight home from the club.
That's right, yeah. There's all kinds of weird restrictions.
But then again, though, I mean, you know, like my nephew, one of my nephews, for example, owns firearms because he's a hunter and his dad was hunting and taught him how to hunt and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yep.
And you know what? I would say that a 12-gauge pump-action shotgun is plenty scary enough if you were to actually try and shoot a person with it, right?
If only we were allowed to defend our homes with that kind of thing in this country.
And even when I was a little kid, I can remember hearing about an incident where somebody, you know, one of our neighbors had an improperly stored hunting rifle, and their kids accidentally set it off and scared the hell out of everybody because they accidentally fired the gun because he just left it sitting in a closet, right?
Yeah.
And apparently it was also loaded. And, you know, like they were playing, these kids were like 6 or 7 years old, and they were playing and just accidentally shot the gun. But luckily they didn't shoot one of them or anything like that. It was just something that gave them a scare, right?
Yeah, well, improper firearm storage, like a lot of these things where you hear about somebody getting shot while cleaning their gun or whatever, like those things are actually a lot more common than people think.
Yeah. But, you know, like people who hunt and stuff like that, I mean, again, people that I worked with, they used to have gun racks in their trucks, right? They could carry a rifle in a gun rack in their truck. Or a shotgun. Well, I can remember a really dim childhood memory of when I was probably about 6 or 7 years old myself. And some friends of my parents, and I went to elementary school with their kids. But we were out one winter getting Christmas trees because we lived in a part of the country where you basically just went out into the bush and cut your own Christmas tree down, right?
Yep.
And he didn't use a saw like we did. He used his shotgun. So he walked up to the tree, point the shotgun at the trunk, bang, and it actually was enough to like completely sever the about a 2 or 3 inch trunk on a tree, right?
Nice. Oh, there you go. Now you're letting people know that we come from high class area, of course. Cultured area.
And actually,
area of culture.
And actually, when I was a teenager, our next door neighbor had quite a large collection of firearms, like a couple of dozen.
Yep.
And then later on, when I was an adult again, and I was living in, I just moved to the city we're in here, the city of Edmonton. And I met my next door neighbor, and he had a collection of guns too, including a couple of handguns. And one that I can't identify, I don't know whether it was a knockoff or whether it was actually, it looked like one of those German automatic handguns, you know?
Okay, like a Ruger.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know anything about guns because I've never actually been a gun enthusiast myself, but I appear to be. Is that a boss there?
Yeah, it's dead though. My hireling killed it before we could even do it, because he has a big, like, hard-hitting weapon just like we do too, right?
But anyway, like I said, I think I'm the exception to the rule, really.
Well, especially in this part of the country.
Yeah, because I don't own any firearms, and I don't hunt. I used to go fishing. I used to like fishing, but I never really got into the hunting thing. I am overburdened. And actually, even when I was a kid, my dad for a while had a 22 rifle too. That he used to go out with his buddies somewhere, and they would shoot at targets and stuff like that with it, right?
Yep.
But I was never really into that kind of thing, although did have pellet guns too when I was a kid, like those air ones you break. They were kind of like a break action, and when you broke the barrel to put the pellet in, you'd also charge the air cylinder. They were like an air rifle. But they would shoot a pellet at a pretty high speed too, right?
Yeah, you wouldn't want to get one of those in the face.
No.
Okay, we need to go to the other thing now. The final thing. We're getting the final fetch in our fetch quest.
The final fetch in the fetch quest?
Yep, we're almost done the fetch quest.
Yeah. But anyway, it's just, like things that I think of as being, kind of like military weapons and handguns that were, heavily restricted as for ownership here in Canada. But
yeah, all the fun things.
But you can own, high-powered rifles. Like, actually, one of the guys that I used to work with was telling me he had a 308 hunting rifle that would do a very nice job of shooting holes in Kevlar vests and that kind of thing, right? And he said you didn't want that to be a semi-automatic weapon because the recoil on it,
control it.
Yeah, the recoil on it would be so strong that you wouldn't be able to control it when you're trying to fire it rapidly anyway, right?
And just like that, we're back to the Maggot Layer again. Without having to walk all the way back through the Maggot Layer.
Oh, okay.
So we need to find the next area.
Do you need to find the next area? Is that where you're going? Well, you just went into a dead end there.
That's why we follow the edge of the map.
Yeah. So you still do sort of have a map with defined edges in it, right?
That's right. And I could make it full screen, or I could use this mini map.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes I use the full screen map, sometimes I use the mini map. I'm using the mini map actually more for the benefit of our viewers than for myself.
Yeah, probably because the big map would get in the way, right?
That's right. Although I might have to use the big map in Act 3 a little bit, just because the little map can be kind of hard to read in some areas. It's not so bad in the first few sections of the game.
What I can't get over is these huge, endless hordes of enemies all the time.
Or the fact that they all mostly get one shot?
Well, because there's so many of them, right?
Yep. Well, that's kind of what Diablo is, I guess. I mean, I guess the first game was kind of like that, although they didn't respawn when you reset the game, of course.
Yeah.
None of that crap's worth picking up.
Oh, he kicks you. You kick those things to break them, huh?
Yep, I don't hit them with my hammer.
They're not even worth wasting a swing with the hammer.
It just means if they blow up, you'll still get hit by them because, you know. Yeah, they never did introduce the ability to break these things with a bow or something. They've really just... It's a tradition in Diablo. They want you to get hit by exploding barrels and traps and things like that.
Yep.
And they'll put those traps and things on things like a vase or a barrel or whatever the hell else.
Well, of course, because that is also a Diablo tradition. But anyway, I just wanted to say I'm not anti-gun or anything like that. I've just never really had any interest in them. And as for people who think that they need to own a firearm for self-defense and all that kind of stuff, all I can say to that is you're living in the wrong place, man.
Yeah, I know. I'm living in the wrong place. I need to go live south of the border.
No, if you need to own a firearm for self-defense, you need to go live someplace where you don't need that.
Nah. You should always be able to take care of yourself.
I don't know. I've been able to take care of myself quite nicely throughout my life, and I've never actually had to shoot anybody in order to do it.
Oh, you're also the size of a linebacker.
Yeah, but I didn't win every fight I've ever been in either. Nobody does. It's just that in the part of the world that I live in, usually once somebody gets a bloody nose or whatever, well, that's enough.
Oh, you'd be surprised though too, because like as I said before, I've got a lot of American friends across the border, right? And in the States, kind of around like where we live, like say Montana, the Dakotas, say even places like Kansas, Nebraska, Oklahoma, the crime rates in most of those places really aren't very high. Right?
Yeah.
It's only like a few places in the United States, like a few key places which have the sky-high crime rates, and they're totally not representative of what the United States is like.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, they drive up the national crime statistics.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, though, when you hear these people screaming about how they need to own their firearm for self-defense, it's like, well... Defense against what? Are you expecting the zombie apocalypse or something?
Yes, absolutely.
I personally have never found myself in a situation in my life where I felt I needed a firearm to defend myself. It's just never happened.
Well, better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it, though, is my perspective.
I don't know. It's better to live someplace where you don't need it.
You can't always control that.
Well, I don't know. I mean...
We've got our eternal darkness descending on us now.
What is that? Oh, is it nighttime?
It's like darker than night.
Oh. Let's see, is this like a thing that happens in the game?
Yeah. So it's actually darker than night right now. I don't know, I mean, I guess there was an incident when I was very young, for example, and I was at, like, the city mall, and, I was a child at the time, but, I was there with my mom, and we were going to the food court and whatever, and there was a goddamn machete attack in the mall.
Yeah.
And it's like, in this place of all places, like, Canada, and there's a goddamn machete attack in the mall.
Yeah, but you know what? I'll bet you that it was somebody from somewhere else in the world that was doing that, too.
Well, regardless of where they were from, I mean, I guess, maybe it's thankful that they weren't targeting, like, us or random people.
Yeah.
But it sure would have been nice to have the tools to defend yourself in a situation like that. That's basically the way I look at it.
I don't know. That's probably a once-in-a-lifetime occurrence, too.
Probably. But still, though, that's the kind of thing that you think of, right? You think of the exceptions, right? You're not going like buying a weapon for self-defense and then going out and looking for trouble. That's just being stupid and irresponsible, right?
Because I know I got a call from the police one time. This was a long time ago, too. Because when I came home from work, quite often I'd be quite late at night, like 9:30, 10 o'clock. Because I worked really long hours at this one job I had. And I walked into the corner store just down the block from where I lived. And, like there was a guy standing at the counter, and he was, kind of a skinny little guy, looked a little twitchy and that kind of thing, but I didn't really pay any attention. He had a duffel bag on the counter in front of him that he was sort of leaning on with his arms over top of it. And I went into the cooler and I bought a thing of milk because my wife asked me to stop and get milk on the way home.
Yep.
And I paid for it and I left. And as soon as I walked out, the guy pulled a sawed-off shotgun out of the bag and robbed the place, right? But even if I'd been carrying my handgun because I had a concealed carry permit and all that kind of stuff, well, you know what? If that guy has a sawed-off shotgun at close range, I'm not going to try and draw on him and shoot him because that's a good way to get dead.
Oh, you just gotta wait till he gets distracted.
You try not to upset people like that too much or provoke them, right?
You wait till he gets distracted and then you mag dump him, and then that's justice.
Because in that situation, all he wants to do is get the cash out of the register and then leave. So, just let him do that.
No, I'm totally a big fan of if somebody's gonna rob a store, you mag dump them. In fact, it should almost be like a legal requirement that people who work in retail stores at the cash register have to carry a gun.
Yeah, well, you'd see lots of gun deaths and stuff like that then. It would be just like the United States here. Right?
We actually have a fair number of gun deaths in Canada anyways.
Yeah, but it's a fraction per capita of what they get it down there.
Well, again, you can't use per capita statistics, though, because you have some places in the United States that are highly distorted.
Yeah, true, but we would have some places like that here that would be highly distorted too, if that were the case.
Well, we've got people
I'm
walking
sorry,
into...
I just
we
don't
have
agree.
people walking into houses in Toronto right now, and the people saying in the paper, leave your car keys by the front door, so that they can break in and steal your car without having to break into your house. It's like, really? So yeah, I don't know. I've got a very much deal with the problem myself kind of mentality.
I don't know.
If somebody breaks into my house, they're not coming back out of it. And I don't care if that's technically not legal here. It's better to be judged by 12 than carried by 6. But I'm a bit of a redneck for that kind of attitude myself. That's a very American-esque attitude.
But then again, though, if somebody kicks down your front door, you can probably take them out with your 12-gauge shotgun just as well as you could with a, handgun or a, military-style rifle or whatever, right?
Sure, I just need to make sure that it's sitting on my lap there.
You don't need access to those kinds of weapons to be able to
a handgun is probably better for self-defense, honestly. Because, first of all, if you're in a self-defense situation, even in the United States, you're responsible for all of the bullets that you fire out of your gun, even in a self-defense situation. And so if you're using something like an assault rifle, part of the problem is, what if it goes through the intruder, and then down the street, and then into somebody's house, and then hits them, right? And so you'd want to use something that doesn't have lots of penetration, like a handgun, in order to defend yourself, because they're small caliber rounds that don't travel at a very high velocity, right? Whereas with a rifle bullet, you very well could end up firing into your neighbor's house. So that's not really a good thing to have for self-defense.
Oh well. Anyway. I'm glad that I have managed to live my life in a place where I don't need to think about things like that. And like I said before, too, I think that, the gun violence problem that they have south of the border is not because of the guns either.
No,
I think
it's a cultural problem.
It's a people problem. It's not a gun problem. Because Canadians, I'd say probably either a very large minority, like close to 50%, or maybe even a slight majority of Canadians own at least one firearm. We just don't tend to shoot each other when we get mad at each other.
Yeah, usually instead here it's stabbings. Stabbings are kind of the thing in Canada, I guess. I don't know why that is. Actually, the majority of violent crime that ends in homicides in general, I think in almost every country in the West, whether it's at least in terms of like the United States or the UK or Canada, it's all stabbings.
Yeah.
Because that's the weapon of opportunity. It's really easy to just go to the kitchen and grab a knife.
Yeah.
Right? And especially if you're like, you know, totally not thinking about it.
Well, then they're going to start doing things like in the UK where you can't buy a knife that has a point.
Don't even get me started on it. Don't even get me started on that.
I couldn't believe that when you told me that. I laughed. I thought you were kidding.
Oh, it's absolutely terrible. I couldn't believe it either. I couldn't when I heard that. Like, man, there's no such thing as a responsible adult anymore.
Yep.
Right? Normal people don't stab people with knives.
The ultimate nanny state, right?
I mean, what if I need to open up a package of bacon? I can't do that with the point of a knife. How the fuck am I supposed to open a package of bacon?
A screwdriver or something.
Yeah, I guess well, you know, the screwdriver would work pretty good for stabbing people too, you know. I guess we better take away those next.
Yeah.
Fuck. Absolutely ridiculous. They're absolutely ridiculous over there, and I'm glad I don't live across the sea. I'm sorry for any of our UK viewers, but I just can't handle that knife point thing.
Yeah, I think even their cops don't even carry guns, right?
That's correct.
Like I don't know that
they might have armed response units.
Oh yeah,
but,
I don't, like I was going to say, I don't know if I'm necessarily using a good example here, but my wife has recently become hooked on these UK police procedural things, right?
Yep.
Because she watches BritBox, and there's a lot of that kind of thing on there.
Of course, it's BritBox.
And apparently, one episode I actually happened to be in the kitchen or something, and I heard the police officer with the very English accent talking about how they were going to have to get permission to use firearms in this situation, right? And it was like they actually had to, like contact their superior and get permission to actually get the firearms out of the gun cabinet at the police station, kind of thing, right?
Yeah. Meanwhile, in Canada, not too long ago, in the neighborhood that I live in, there was like a suspected terror threat, and they drove a fucking armored car through the neighborhood.
Yeah.
So it's just like, okay, well, you know, they didn't need to have so much oversight for that. I guess that's fine. And I don't think anything actually ended up happening. I think the person inside actually just ended up getting arrested. Because, I mean, when you have an armored car parked outside, what the hell are you going to do? Even if we were allowed to own assault weapons there, it ain't going to do anything against an armored car unless you've got your trusty rocket launcher sitting on your lap on your couch, right? So, you know.
Yeah.
And even then, those things have such sloped armor on them, it might even just... bounce off.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, though, I think that the UK appears to have an extremely weird attitude toward that kind of thing, right?
Yeah, towards crime in general. Like,
because when even the police aren't allowed to, resort to deadly force when they're endangered. I mean, that's quite something too, right?
Well, I'm not sure exactly why. Maybe the perspective is don't blame the people, blame the tools, right? Like maybe they think it's just like it's an opportunity thing because people have these things, they will use them. I'm not exactly sure what it is that they think.
Yeah.
But I can say that, at least personally, and probably obviously, given the opinions I've just espoused earlier in this episode, I don't agree with that.
Obviously not.
Yes, I actually believe it should be the responsibility of the individual to not do stupid things like stab people.
Yeah.
And if somebody's going to stab you, or try to stab you, you have the right to shoot them. I'm very much like that.
You're going to die.
I'm killing myself here.
There. Yeah, let your buddy there handle it for a bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just killing myself on that mummy sarcophagus trying to bust it with this hammer.
Yeah. Oh, it actually, even when you hit inanimate objects, you take damage?
Yep. Even
That
when I hit
sucks.
inanimate objects, I take damage. Literally, when it says you take 8% of the damage you deal, you take 8% of the damage you deal. Like, unconditionally. You can't steal the life from undead monsters anyways. So...
Because they don't have any, right?
That's right, so I actually can't get any of that back. Even if I had a life-stealing weapon that stole 8% life. See here. Yeah, fuck that. I don't need any of that stuff. I think I found the way down, and it's this little tiny pink dot.
Claw Viper Temple level 2.
Yep, and just before we do that, I'm gonna empty out some shit here, because we're gonna get a whole bunch of shit for doing this.
So just remind me again, why are you there?
Oh, they're the ones who blotted out the sun with black magic, and made it super dark everywhere.
Oh.
So it's like darker than night. So we're gonna go kill them, so that they can't do that.
Oh.
Because that's the solution to problems.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
You just stick pointy into the bad guy, or in this case, you bash their head in with a big hammer, and that will solve the problem of the sun being out.
Okay. Sounds simple enough.
Yep. Like I said, you know, they might try to gloss it up with some story reasons and things like that, but that's basically what Diablo is. Okay, here comes some vipers. Here comes some more vipers.
Oh, there's a red one.
Yeah, they're a little bit more powerful because they have fire hit damage, but I'm actually going to come over here and, yeah.
Oh, there's a blue one there, too.
Yeah, we'll kill them too. I want to go around this way, though. My hireling will stop trying to kill all of that undead. Because I want to get these guys.
There's an army.
Yo, there's lots of undead and things around here too, right? So, you know, now I guess I can come over here and start to kill these guys. But the thing about these guys too is they have a special charging attack that almost always hits.
Yeah.
Which is really annoying.
Wow, now you got all kinds of globes of light flying around all over the place, and...
Yeah, that's from the stupid mummies.
Oh.
But we can take care of that problem relatively easily.
Yeah, you just hit them with that hammer until they fall down,
That's right, you hit them with the hammer until they fall down.
Yeah, okay.
Hey, you know, that worked to fix the fans in my computer too, eh?
Yeah, percussive maintenance, right?
That's right, percussive maintenance.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure, but your old ancient laptop here might require a little bit of that too. Sometimes when I'm close to that, I can hear it grinding and whining away.
Yeah, I'd probably percussive maintenance that too. Percussive maintenance solves all problems.
That's probably a fan problem too, right?
Yeah, well, the grease in the bearings gets all screwed, right? And so that'll affect that, and then, you know, who knows what the bearing itself is like.
Well, how old is that laptop?
Oh, that one is like a laptop that I ended up getting from some other guy, and it was made for Windows XP, and it was a 64-bit computer with a single-core processor, so it could run Windows 10 on a single core. I don't know if Windows 10 supports that configuration, but there's actually a command line option that you can use during install to bypass that.
Oh, so that's the kind of laptop that like ancient Romans used to use or something, right?
Yeah, well, it's basically the last of a dead era of computing, kind of. Except it's 64-bit, so it can still run modern operating systems. So I actually put Linux on the damn thing and used it to hold open our Diablo session. Yes, I think it's still doing that right now. It's just sitting there.
Yeah.
But anyways, the charging cable on that thing got fucked up by a cat before it ever came into my ownership, so I wrapped the entire thing in electrical tape from end to end, and then plugged it in, and lo and behold, it worked, and then the mouse didn't work so well, because it had coffee spilled on it at one point. So I basically just, like, grinded the fucking mouse pad into itself until it loosened up a bit, and then you could actually click the buttons. Because, you know, that's how you fix that problem. You don't take the machine apart and clean it. You just grind the fucking shit out of it until you can actually click the buttons.
So So, have you accomplished some sort of goal here now, or what?
Yes, so we'll talk to Kane here, and he'll be like, oh, you have a treasure in the Horadric cube because you craft shit.
According to Horadric lore, the cube can restore a Horadric Staff. To do it, use the cube as you would a scroll. When the cube opens, place both pieces of the staff.
Oh, there's only 2 pieces of the staff?
Yep.
Transmute power. You'll be pleased to know that the cube has other alchemical uses as well. 6 gems plus 1 sword transmute into a socketed longsword. You may also transmute 2 quivers of crossbow bolts into 1 quiver of arrows, while 2 quivers of arrows yield 1 quiver of bolts. I must leave it to you to discover other formulas.
Okay, so you can use this thing to make shit.
Yep. Fuck Lord Jaren. Fuck the Viper, whatever the fuck. So now we'll take this thing, we'll take this thing, we'll take that thing, we'll take this thing, we'll take this thing, and we'll do that.
Okay, so you just restored the staff?
Yep, we restored the staff.
And now what are you going to do with the staff that's now been newly restored?
Well, I can't sell it, so I have to go and use it. And I'll be using it because it's the thing that opens Talrash's tomb. Because opening the tomb of a guy who sacrificed his body to seal the Lord of Destruction away is a perfectly reasonable thing that one does.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
I think it's a pretty good idea, too. You already see where this is going.
Yeah, I can see where this is going.
Ooh, cold resistance and lots of it. That's good. I guess we'll be swapping out gloves like crazy, right? Oh, I need my winter mitts. Oh, I need my hot mitts. There you go. That's what we should call them. If I could name these things, I would.
Oven mitts?
Oven mitts and winter gloves.
Yeah.
Where's my cold resist gloves? They're probably over here. Yeah, they're done. So, you know, those other chain. That's some pretty warm chainmail. Like you'd think it would be really cold, but I guess not.
Yeah. It's just like my very first magically enchanted weapon that I made in Oblivion that I named the Monster Zapper. Remember that?
Oh, yep.
Yeah. The short sword that I gave the shock enchantment to.
The one that fell through the earth because of a glitch?
Oh.
You got disarmed and then it fell through the earth.
Yeah. Then after that I had to get a mod that basically prevented disarming because that was really pissed me off. Actually, that wasn't the Monster Zapper though. That was a better weapon that I think that one stole health or something.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, basically I got hit by a werewolf and disarmed, and then the thing fell through the earth and I couldn't find it again.
Yeah, getting disarmed in general is just, because the problem isn't getting disarmed and then having to look for your weapon on the ground, because you can find that when it happens. Like, it's usually really easy to just find it and pick it up again. The problem is when, because there's a lot of bugs and flaws in the game's collision, you can end up in the situations where,
it clips through the ground and then it disappears forever.
That's right. Sometimes you can see it under the ground, but lots of times it'll actually just keep falling.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, fuck, now you're fucked. And meanwhile, I'm buying all these useless fucking items. I just want a plate belt.
Oh.
Well, we could get some mauls.
Why are you buying all these items?
45 to 62 damage. That's why.
Oh.
And 36 to 46, that's crap. And I really would just like a plate belt, because then I could carry extra healing potions. But, I don't know, maybe we're not at a stage where we can gamble a plate belt yet. I think we can, we're just not getting any luck. But, fuck it. What are we looking at for time?
We're at, just about an hour 10.
Yeah, well, I don't know, maybe we should call it early today?
Yeah, sure.
Because I'll be going into this palace here next.
Yeah, you've accomplished a goal, right?
We'll go and talk to this douche who's still trying to say his line from the beginning of the act.
Yeah.
All right, welcome to Loot Lane. I've been here for like 2 episodes. And then he's like, oh, I need you to go into my palace. And then the guard says, yeah, you can go in. Although there's a glitch where you can actually bypass this guard and slip into the palace before you're supposed to anyways.
Oh.
So.
But why would you want to?
Because then you don't have to do that fetch quest that we just did.
Oh, but you
Although
went
you
and
do
did
have to do it anyways.
You went and did it anyway, though.
Yeah, you do actually have to do it anyways, because you need it to actually complete this act, but...
All right. Well, enough is enough.
Yes. All right, so I guess until next time.
I'm Sandman99.
And I'm Rec B5. Have a good one.